Are you a woman executive, entrepreneur, or maybe a politician who has broken through the glass ceiling? Good for you. And thanks for being a role model for women and girls everywhere. Because we know that in North America, only 7% of women occupy the C-suite in the US. And in Canada, it's less than 4%. I'm making it my mission to change that by building an empire of women leaders who actually take steps to lift one another up in business, the workplace, and in real life. We're going to change those meager numbers and break a whole lot of glass. If you want to join me to help build an empire where together we work on taking our rightful seat in the C-suite and maintaining it, visit my website, consultchristine.com.
Hi everyone, Christine Cusinelli here. I have a question for you. Do you feel like your need to go it alone is causing you to feel like you're being driven to the edge? Do you feel like you're the one pulling the weight in projects, but then you can't seem to delegate tasks for fear that they're not going to get done? If this sounds familiar to you, then you may fall into the category of the soloist. This is the topic for today's video on imposter syndrome. Remember university days when the prof assigned you to group members who never seemed to pull their weight? You may have been up late at night in your college dorm trying to pull all the pieces together so that you could meet that midnight deadline. Remember those days? Well, I bet you at that time you may have felt like you couldn't rely on your classmates to get the things in on time, or perhaps it didn't measure up to your standards. If you continue to experience this today in the workplace, it may be a good idea to reflect on if you may be unintentionally causing your own stress. The soloist thinks that asking for help reveals their weaknesses. They don't want to admit that they're afraid to be let down by other people, and so they go it alone. Often, it's to their own detriment, emotionally, socially, and physically, if they push themselves to the point of burnout. I mean, it's okay to go it alone, but not to the point that you refuse assistance in order to prove your own worth. So if you're not sure if this applies to you, ask yourself these questions. Do you firmly believe that you need to accomplish things all on your own? When you hear the phrase, "I don't need anyone's help," does that ring pretty true for you? Do you frame requests in terms of requirements of the project rather than your needs as a person? If these things resonate with you, I can tell you this. The solution for this particular type of imposter syndrome is to learn to ask for help. I know, you're thinking to yourself, well, that's something I already knew. How do I do that? That's what we're going to explore right now. I have two very effective solutions that will help you learn slowly to get more and more comfortable with asking for help. The first one is use the foot in the door or the door in the face technique. These two are the reverse of one another. The foot in the door technique is to, as it says, just put your foot in the door and ask for a small favor. The second one, the door in the face, is the reverse, and that's asking for a big favor. And if you get a no, then you can renegotiate a smaller favor or a smaller request to ask for help. With the foot in the door request, you're going to your peer's office and you're going to ask them, hey, can I ask you a small favor, or can I ask you a question? And you segue into the conversation to explain what it is that you're working on or dealing with, and you can enlist their support that way. It's a really effective technique. The second one being the big ask. The big ask is great because you are already putting yourself out there for the top, and so if they say yes, everybody's a winner. If they choose to tell you that they're unable to help, then you still have an in to be able to renegotiate for something that might be smaller. And sometimes if you just break things down into small pieces, people will sign on for the smaller thing, and then you can engage their assistance further on to complete the task. The second really effective technique to ask for help is really simple. Think about a daily routine in the life of a new mother. If you've been a new mom, you're going to understand this completely. When you have your stroller and you've got your baby put into the stroller and your snacks and your purse and cell phone and all of these things, you get to the door. And if it's not an automatic door, all of a sudden you have to figure out how are you going to straddle all these things in order to get the door open. This technique that I'm sharing with you is all about don't make someone guess what you want. If there's a passerby, you are probably a lot more naturally going to say to them, "Excuse me, would you mind getting the door for me?" And I know that a lot of you probably feel like, I don't think I would want to do that. But here's the thing. People are actually shy sometimes about offering help. They may not want to insult your independence. They may not be sure if you would accept it. If it's a man, he may think that you might get the wrong impression. There's all kinds of things, and you can't predict what's going through somebody else's mind. They may also just be in their own world. But here's the thing. When someone asks you for help, what is it that you feel? You feel like you're quite ready to jump up and open a door for them. It's not something that most people would feel is an inconvenience for them. I can tell you that people actually feel validated. They feel a part of a team. They feel as though you actually recognize them for, even if it's a small favor, for their kindness and caring nature. So these are really important things to consider when you start to ask people for their assistance. People do like to be asked for help. It makes them feel that they're an expert in some respect. So you're really giving somebody a compliment when you do that. It's all about giving, but then also being able to receive. Thanks for watching this video today on imposter syndrome type number 5, the soloist. And if you enjoyed this video, head on over to my website, consultchristine.com, and learn through your free consultation how we can work together to build an empire of women taking our rightful seat in the C-suite.